All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we're going to start off this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to YAHAWAH,
YAHAWAH,
Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, and Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders and the bishops of Grand Millstone who rule well and have taught us this word in truth and sincerity. All right, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 and the rest of the 130. All right. So, in today's class is going to be another edition of Doomsday Prophecies. Okay, and it's to see the headline: $21 trillion, $21 trillion bunkers. Top wicked elites think they can hide from Yahweh Shai. So that's what these bunkers are all about. The idea of bunkers, underground bunkers. It's all centered around the top wicked elite among Esau, Edom, and the rest of the heathens. Right, the rest of these nations hiding from Yahweh Shai in that day of the Lord, right? Ultimately, the nuclear missiles. So, brothers, got any opening precepts before I bring out an article? Con, let me just share my screen here. Now, actually, I'll wait till I get the article and then. Okay. So, here's the article here. This is from endtimeheadlines.org. And as you see, it says former government official claims U.S. has underground city intended for ultra wealthy to survive extinction level event, right? So it goes on to say a former government official has asserted the United States has constructed a clandestine, which how do you say that? Clandestine, which I'm pretty sure means secretive. Constructed a clandestine underground city at the cost of $21 trillion, man. Now, if you look at America's GDP last year was $29 trillion. So the country made $29 trillion. These guys used $21 trillion to build underground cities. Okay. And you got what, about 50 states, 51 states in America, or 50 states, 50 states. So 29 trillion from 50 states. You can imagine how vast and how large these underground cities are with 21 trillion.
And bring this out.
The
book of Jeremiah 23 and 24. I'm going to get it 23, 24. And it reads, can any hide himself in a secret place that I shall not see him? Saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Do not I fill heaven and earth? Saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So it's basically in vain, you think of to hide or to go under your $21 trillion escape, because there's no escaping the Lord, right? Once you're subject or given over to judgment, right, you can't go outside of prophecy. And this book has been written, closed, signed, sealed, and delivered, and we're just here bringing it out. So yes, you have heard the Lord's speech and you were afraid, just like Adam in the garden. Remember when he said, Adam, where are you? And he says, I heard you and I was afraid.
Yeah.
So that same spirit is now shaking up Edom, and you heathens, man.
That's right.
All right. Which is what moved them to make bunkers, man. It's not going to work.
Yep, exactly. Matter of fact, let me get this to back you up, because you're right. They are afraid. And Actually, let me get it in the King James. Come on now. Okay. So damn. Okay, so Wisdom of Solomon. Brother destroy. Shalom. YAHAWAH Shem Shabbat.
Shalom.
So the back of what the brother was saying about Esau being afraid. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. And it says, Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. And this is not talking about your 70 runs of all your civil right movements. Okay, Esau, the top wicked elites, starting with Esau, and the rest of the heathens, can care less about you calling yourself black, African, I'm black and I'm proud, a black Hebrew Israelite. But when you start coming into names, coming with the names, all right, of Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shai, and you're rebuking Esau, Edom, and exposing him in those names, that's when he gets terrified. And made no account of his labors. Verse 2, it says, When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. Okay? Because why? Well, Esau, Edom, these top wicked elites, have been able to basically beguile the whole world, man. The whole world. Okay? Right. And you see World War I, World War II, and now we're at we're coming into the climax of World War III. That has been orchestrated by a few men, a few families, man, ruling elite families. So they have immense power. So they didn't account for us to wake up, okay, to the truth, to the full truth. That's the one thing Esau Edom couldn't put his hands on to control, because it's of the spirit, right? So it says, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. Yep. That's it on that.
Can I bring this up, Babakusha? Going into the topic. This is the book of Isaiah 29:15. And it reads, Woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord Yahweh, right. And the works are in dark, and the works are in the dark. So like it. And they say, Who see it? Who see us? And who know us? So that's what Jesus is trying to do. Try to hide from the Lord, you know?
Yep.
Well, that's based on his counsel, and via these articles that we it's by the Spirit we stumble upon them, because they're not meant for us to gloss over and make videos and point them out, right? But we're set up to make Esau what? Bare, right? And shed light, in what was once darkness. Bring this real quick, brother. On the book of Jeremiah 49:10. But I've stripped Esau bare. I have uncovered his hiding places. And he's not able to conceal himself. Why? Because, we got these pesky 1/3 on his ass, man. Right? And that's his mindset. Those blooming Israelites,
Yep.
We ain't giving him a break. Right? His children are destroyed. And this speaking in a prophetic sense, and this brings comfort to us, knowing that this has already happened in the spirit, right? The Most High, YAHAWAH says via the prophet, his children are destroyed, speaking in the past, and his brothers and his neighbors, and he's no more. So we know the climax, the ending, right, of this man's, right, his future is basically played out for destruction, man. It's laid up for destruction. So this scratching, clawing, tooth and nails, right? man, this man has nowhere to go, man, because it's signed, sealed, and delivered.
That's right.
You know?
Con.
So what, Elder?
Con. So continuing on here, it says intended for the ultra wealthy in the event of a near extinction event. Catherine Austin Fitz, who held the position of Assistant Secretary of Housing and Urban Development under President George H. Washington George H.W. Bush, made this remarkable claim during an appearance on the podcast hosted by former Fox News anchor Tucker Carlson, as reported by Realtor.com. Now, understand this. The fact that we're seeing all this information come out on Esau, know that he's letting it come out. These devils have a tactic that they use, which is called control opposition. Okay. So at the same time, you know what? They're letting everybody know what they're getting ready to do and what their plans are, because at this point, there's nothing that these people can do anything about it. All right. So why not let you guys all know what we're all doing? Right at the core, there's nothing you can do about it anyways. So that's why you're seeing, because come on, Tucker Carlson and this lady, Catherine Austin Fitz, she's coming out with information like this is because she's control opposition. Okay. Nevertheless, this is still prophecy. So it says next chapter or next paragraph. It says a 2017 report by Mark Skidmore, an economist from Michigan State University, revealed what he characterized as 21 trillion in unauthorized spending by the Department of Housing and Urban Development between the years 1998 and 2015. It says the investigation was initiated following Fitz reference to another report indicating that the Army had an unsupported adjustment figure of 6.5 trillion. You know how much money that like this is why I said earlier in the beginning of the America made 50 states pulled together made 29 trillion, and these guys used 21 to build the underground cities, man. You can only imagine what it looks like down there. They're going to be doing good. Then there's $6.5 trillion added to their military.
Wow. Can I bring this up, Abakusha?
Khan.
Yeah, this is the book of John 3:20.
Oh, I just got to mention, and this 6.5 trillion is in the fiscal year of 2015. We are 10 years later on. So you can only imagine how much more they've spent on these underground cities, man. Go ahead.
This is the book of John 3:20, and NLT, and it reads, all who do evil hate the light and refuse to go near for fear their sins will be exposed. And this man is being exposed right now. Verse 21, but those who do what is right come to the light so others can see what they are doing, what YAHAWAH wants. So this man is getting exposed right now.
That's right.
That's right. And bring this up?
Yep.
This is the book of Job 24, 13, I read down to about 16. It reads, there are those who rebel against the light. And this can be twofold. It can be the Israelites, the rebellious nation. But in this sitting, it's Esau, Edom, right? Who are not acquainted with his ways, right? Because this light was set up to what? Bring forth clarity. Okay. And there's nothing you can do against the truth. You can't bring your dark intentions, right, into this truth, into this light that was set up by Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
That's right.
All right. And do not stay in its path. It wasn't meant for anyone but the 1/3 and the hopeful elect. The murderer Right? Read it again. The murderer rises before it is light. And we know who that murderer is, the main culprit, Esau Edom, man. Right? That he and him being risen up is based on prophecy. He was meant to what? To do the wicked, to be the antagonist of the story, and the protagonist being Esau Edom. And ain't nothing better than a good, well put together movie, man, where you have the antagonist being a pest, right?
Yeah.
And the protagonist come in the end, right?
Yeah.
And win it over, man. Okay, and that's the main ingredients of any good movie. But Esau Edom, he makes movie like that for us to like and enjoy, but he doesn't want that to happen to him.
That's right.
You know,
That's
right? So back at Job 24, and it reads, he that he may kill the poor and needy, which is us, right? That's his mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And in the night, he is like a thief. Okay, the eye of the adulterer also waits for the twilight, saying, "No eye will see me." Right. So that's what you're going to Elder about this $21 trillion and all this, this grandeur of a hideout. Right.
Yeah.
And he veils his face. In the dark, they dig through houses. By day, they shut themselves up. They do not know the light. All right. And this light is truth. They don't know what we're saying is going to be, come to fruition. They think it's just mere idleness with nothing better to do, right? It's going to fizzle out sooner or later. We're going to say, oh, we give up.
Yeah.
But no, man.
Yeah. Esau's pride is great, man.
God.
Con, that's it on that?
Con.
I'll finish up a little bit here, then I'm going to bring it a precept. This is according to the report given to the army, 122 billion budget. This figure of unsupported adjustments was 54 times greater than the expenditures authorized by Congress, and an unusual occurrence, as such adjustments are typically a small percentage of authorized spending. So that's insane. So
wow.
So what they were authorized, which is 122 billions, to spend, the expenditures, right, was 54 times greater.
Wow.
The adjustment was 54 times greater than 122 billion. So do you understand what kind of technology this devil has down there? They understand the YAHAWAH is coming. They know. So it says here, during her discussion on the Tucker Carlson show, Fitz mentioned that she has spent years scrutinizing the whereabouts of this $21 trillion and has identified, take this in, identified 170 secret underground bases across the United States alone, right? Remember, you got bankers all over Europe and Asia. So you got all those areas full with bunkers as well. 170 are in the United States alone. And that probably includes Canada. But it says so Fitz stated one of the aspects I investigated in tracking the allocation of these funds is the underground base infrastructure and transportation system that has been established. They got that place down there is crazy. Let me get this precept before I continue on in Revelation. Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. You simple-minded Israelites, this goes over your heads. You don't understand. You don't ask yourself, why the hell is Esau, Edom, and the elites spending 20. Like it's not even that they're spending 5 billion or 100 billion. They're spending 21 trillion. That's damn near the GDP of all of America. 50 states come together to make 29 trillion, and these guys are spending 21 trillion on underground bunkers. And that just, and you don't understand, you know, or you're not curious as to why. Okay, so Shalom, YAHAWAH Shem Shabbat.
Shalom, YAHAWAH Shem Shabbat.
This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 12, and I got it here in the NLT. It says, I watched the Lamb, right, which is YAHWH, broke this. I watched as the Lamb broke the sixth seal, and there was a great earthquake. The sun became as dark as black cloth, and the moon became as red as blood. Right, these are signs in the heaven. Then the stars of the sky fell to the earth like green figs falling from a tree shaken by a strong wind. And it's not the literal stars falling from the sky. Okay?
The missiles, man.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly. Verse 14, the sky was rolled up like a scroll. Right? And all the mountains and the islands were moved from their places. So there's going to be another. There was a first Pangea via water. There's going to be a second Pangea via fire. Okay, because it says the earth is going to rock to and fro by the damage that these ICBM missiles are going to create.
That's right.
So and this is why they're hiding deep underground. Because they're planning to what? They're planning to start World War III.
That's right.
Okay.
But the acronym for that deep underground
right
bunker,
yeah,
dumb. So it's actually dumb what they're doing because there's no escape. It's an omen.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Oh man,
that's a fact. Verse 15, it says, then everyone, the kings of the earth, the rulers, the generals, the wealthy, the powerful, and every slave and free person, best believe they got slaves down there, man, all hid themselves in the caves and among the rocks in the mountains, right? In the ancient world, it was literal caves, as they did not have the technology to build underground cities, okay? But now we're in the 21st century, according to Esau, and those caves now are underground cities, man. Okay. So verse 16 it says, and they cried to the mountains and to the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of the one who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb.
That's right.
So this aligns right with the heading of this article. Okay. Biblical prophecy says that the top rulers and governors and kings of the earth will hide from the wrath of the Lamb, being YAHWH, underground. And is it a coincidence that they're spending 21 trillion on underground bunkers or bases? Finishing up, it says, verse 17, for the great day of their wrath has come, and who is able to survive? That's right. That's it on that.
I got a quick one. I wanted to just bring it out in regards to when I joined in. Praises to YAHWH Shem Shai on the lesson. We talked about the fear of the Lord. That is, the Lord put a spirit on Esau in regards to him fearing the Lord and fearing the finishing up of his rulership, so to speak. So I have Job 15, and I'm going to read it from the NLT, verses 20 to 22, right? Linking in regards to this man's position and what he's going through right now, what he's hiding of it. But we know. So this is Job 15 and 20. I'm going to read from the NLT. It says, the wicked wither in pain throughout their lives. Years of trouble are stored up for the rootless. You see? So yes, he's going to go under. He's going to go back into where he came from. The Lord sent him. That's part of his. That's part of his. What you would call it, punishment. But the greatest punishment is when the kingdom is taken from him and given to the elect. So verse 21, Job 15 and 21 from the NLT. The sound of terror rings in his ears. See, and even on good days, they fear the attack of the destroyer. See, going into those bunkers, man. So he knows. And read verse 22, Job 15 and 22. It says, they dare not go out into the darkness for fear that they will be murdered. See? They know. Esau knows. And, we know 2/3 of our people are following this man, right? That spirit is on you. The Lord put that spirit. Okay, that's why you act the way you do. Okay? That's pretty much it in regards to what to bring out that.
I got something.
Come.
Yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 2, and I'm gonna start at verse 17. The point is in 19. It says, and the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of men shall be made low, and the Lord YAHAWAH alone shall be exalted in that day.
That's right.
One of the reasons why YAHAWAH is the one that's going to be exalted in that day is because he has lifted up Esau, Edom to the highest point, and he's going to take them down from that lofty place. So the entire world is going to see that. So the entire world is going to call on Yahweh's name, or try to call on his name, right? When you go to verse 18, it says, on the idols.
That's the world of Israelites. You might even get heathens that call it his name, maybe.
Yeah, they're gonna repeat it, not knowing what it really means. Verse 18, it says, and the idols he shall utterly abolish. Verse 19, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for fear of the Lord YAHAWAH, for the glory of his majesty, when he ariseth to shake terrible the earth.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a good 20. It says,
let me go ahead.
It says, in that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which they made each one for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats.
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I have it here in the NLT. And it says, verse 17, human pride will be humbled and human arrogance will be brought down. Only the Lord YAHAWAH will be exalted on the day of judgment. Idols will completely disappear. When the Lord YAHAWAH rises to shake the earth, his enemies will crawl into holes in the ground. They will hide in caves and in the rocks from the terror of the Lord YAHAWAH and the glory of his majesty. Right? I'm actually going to skip up, roll back up. I'm going to start with verse 10 in the NLT. And it says, crawl into caves in the rocks, hide in the dust, right? From the terror of the Lord, YAHAWAH, and the glory of his majesty. Human pride, this is what you're going into, Mayan. Human pride will be brought down, and human arrogance will be humbled. Only the Lord YAHAWAH will be exalted in the day of judgment. For the Lord YAHAWAH of heaven's armies, as a day of reckoning, has a day of reckoning. He will punish the proud and mighty and bring down everything that is exalted. Right? He will cut down the tall cedar of Lebanon and all the mighty oaks of Bashan, and that's twofold because that's the land literally itself, but also the people of the land. Okay, so it says he will level all the high mountains and all the lofty hills, and this is going to happen, all right, to America via the ICBM missiles and the chariots. Okay, he will break down every high tower and every fortified wall. Okay, which includes your underground bunkers, man, because once the elect come down from them chariots after their coronation, okay, starting with the 144,000, they're gonna come down and they're gonna bust down your walls, man. Your so-called fortified walls, okay, bust them down and then put you in shackles and chains, and you're gonna start rebuilding the kingdom. Verse 16, he will destroy all the great trading ships and every magnificent vessel. And this is what we read earlier. Okay. But yeah, that's it on that. Just wanted to get that.
I also have Amos 9:1.
Yeah.
Yeah. It says, I saw the Lord YAHAWAH standing upon the altar, and he said, smite the intel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head of all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered.
And it's going to Esau, Edom, the elites, right?
Yep,
This article is not for the Joe Sixpack of that nation.
That's
it's
right.
for the one that deemed themselves to be Labawan, which means Lebanon, means white, right? So they say themselves they're pure and they're sanctified and they shouldn't be touched, right? But it's not so according to the Bible. The Bible have outlined in various precepts all over the Bible that Esau's demise will come via what? Nuclear destruction.
That's right.
All right. Go ahead.
Verse 2, it says, though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them.
That's for the Christians, man. So you tell me that people are going to be hiding in hell? Hell must be a nice place. $21 trillion, man. You know?
Yeah.
That's not hell to me. That's not lofty.
1000%. Yeah.
Try to escape, yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down.
And that's not literally. It just means that it doesn't matter where you go, anywhere you go, the Most High is
sideways.
It doesn't matter, you know. It's been declared, right? A destruction has been sent out, right? There's an order, and these are threats that's going to be fulfilled and be carried out.
That's right. Let me read verse 2 real quick in the NLT. Back up, it says, even if they dig down to the place of the dead, right? When people die, where do they go? They go into the grave.
Right?
So you use some spiritual logic. It says, I will reach down and pull them up. Is the Most High going to take his hand and go down? If the earth is his footstool, he's going to take his hand and go into the earth and dig them out of their $21 trillion bunkers? No. The Lord said that he will make his 144,000. He's going to make them what? His axe, right? His battle axe and his weapon of war. So he's going to use exactly with thee. Exactly. So it should say, with thee will I reach down and pull them up. That's what the Lord's going to do. He's going to use the elect, starting with 144,000, to do so. Even if they climb up into the heavens, I will bring them down. That's it.
Go ahead, man.
Verse 3, it says, and though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence.
I think that's going into was it Elisha and the prophet of Baal on top of that mountain where Elisha?
Yeah. It was Elijah. I think it was Elijah.
Elijah?
Yeah. Come.
So it's like a sacred place.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where they go, right? The Most High, has have it out for them, man. Right? There's no escaping. There's nowhere to hide. I mean, go ahead.
I will search and take them out thence, and though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them.
What's his name? Leviathan. Right. So there's literally no place to go. Right.
That's right.
Which is why they spend this exorbitant amount of money.
That's right.
Right. It's a colossal figure, man. $21 trillion.
It's a lot, man.
That's
a lot. Yep.
It says verse 4.
Okay, go ahead. I
just have two more.
Yeah.
No, you
It says, and though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them, and I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good.
Right. And that sword of all swords, again, is them ICBM missiles, man.
Yep.
The Lord's fury.
Verse 5.
Hey, and Slake, and this played out for us as Israelites, but guess what? As now, the Lord said He's going to turn these curses upon our enemies. So now this applies to you, Esau, Edom. Okay. We are your enemies because we stand for righteousness and you stand for wickedness. So you're gonna go into captivity before their enemies. That's us. Okay. You're gonna go in captivity under us. Okay.
Ready? Okay. Yeah. Last one. Verse 5. And the Lord YAHAWAH of hosts, he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt, and all that dwell therein shall mourn. And it shall rise up wholly like a flood, and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt.
That's right, man. So we know what happened to Pharaoh and his chariots. Right? They were overcome by what? Crashing down off waves, But this time it's gonna be a wave of missiles, man.
That's right.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Good.
I got this Slacker. I got this video here. Ashar, you send me this video, and I'm gonna play it real quick. It's only a minute and 33 seconds. But the term that they use here is they'll probably state it themselves.
A large working city operating.
Sorry. Subteropolis, right? So go ahead and play this.
A large working city operating deep underground as we go about our lives on the surface above. It's real, and it's right here in the United States.
Subtropolis. Decades ago, limestone was mined here for concrete and asphalt. What's left is space.
Always remember, what they're showing you isn't even a fraction of what they have going on. Okay? Control opposition is what this devil uses to have people feeding on what they think is the truth, when there's so much more going on. Okay.
A lot of space.
Okay, so what's down here right now? We have 6 million square feet of buildings leased to 55 companies. There's 1,700 employees that run around here and go to work every day.
It's a massive industrial park, all underground.
You ever worry like the world could come to an end upstairs, and you guys would just be down here safe, toiling away, right?
I feel like Fort Knox. Security. Subtropolis is basically disaster-proof. Another selling point, Subtropolis is always 65 degrees. Always. What better place than to put a room full of computers? There's a lot of cool stuff in Subtropolis, especially in a company called Underground Vaults and Storage.
What are you going to show us? We're going to show you Hollywood right behind these doors.
Inside, aisle upon aisle of TV and movie treasures sent here by the studios for safekeeping.
These guys are going to have popcorn and Pepsi down there while the whole world is getting hit by missiles. While America is getting hit by missiles, YAHAWAH is showing up. They're going to watch the whole thing with popcorn and Pepsi, man. And they got movies down there and shit. Oh man. Hey, but it's underground cities, so they got parks, they got grass, everything.
From the National Archives to food distributor Harris Brothers, the occupants of Subtropolis praise the predictability of doing business in a place where the sun never shines nor sets.
There you go.
There's another place in Colorado where there's in a mountain. There's an army base that he has. Can I bring this down for Babucha?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the book of Job 34. I'll read 21 and 22. And it reads, "For YAHAWAH watches how people live. He sees everything they do. Verse 22. No darkness is thick enough to hide the wicked from his eyes." So it doesn't matter whether you go into space, or underneath, whatever. You know, there's nowhere for him to hide.
Let me bring this out.
Yep, come.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 149. I read from 6 down to about 9.
Oh yeah, of course.
It reads, let's start at 5. Start at 5.
Yeah.
Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. I ain't worried about nothing. They ain't worried about nothing. And that's how we are in the spirit, man. You know what I mean? You know, as long as we're contrite to the Heavenly Father and His Son, we're good.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Verse 6. Let the high praises of YAHAWAH Bahashim Yahushai be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand.
That's right.
To execute vengeance upon the heathen.
That's right.
And punishments upon the people. 8. To bind their kings with chains.
That's right.
And their nobles with fetters of iron.
That's right.
To execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all the saints. Praise ye YAHAWAH Ba'ashem Yahushai.
That's right. Yeah. YAHAWAH Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man.
YAHAWAH Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. You know? So this is what's prescribed, right, as the cure for this cancer.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, verse 9 in NLT, it says to execute. I'll read verse 8. It says to bind their kings with shackles and their leaders with iron chains. To execute the judgment written against them. This is the glorious privilege of His faithful ones. Praise the Lord Yahweh. You know, Revelation 13 and 9. He that leads in captivity shall go in captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the faith and the patience of the saints.
That's right. And the saints are us Israelite men. You so-called Negroes, you so-called Hispanics, you so-called American Indians. Right?
That's right. Yep. So back here in this article, it says here, this Catherine lady, it says she further asserted a significant number of underground bases and purported transportation systems have been built, including those located beneath the oceans, right? And we already read that precept. Leviathan is down there. Okay, so he's gonna get his orders and he's gonna do what he does. It says the specific location of these secret installations, as well as individuals among the elite who may gain access to them in time of crisis, remain unclear. Of course it does, but we know who they are. Okay. Additionally, the extent of these bunkers and the amenities, water. The amenities they offer for daily life is also unknown. Yeah, because what they're doing is on land, they're giving you lab-grown meat, seedless fruits, and underground, they're getting the best of the best. They're keeping all the best of the best for themselves.
Yeah.
It says, according to Fitz, these bases would serve purpose in the event of an imminent near extinction event, or facilitate the government's executions of secret projects, including a covert space program, right? And when you go into a space, you look up space program, it just goes into them, trying to go into space and go to planets and whatnot. But they know YAHAWAH is going to basically, quote unquote, invade the Earth, crack open them clouds, right, with the host of heaven, and invade the Earth. So it says Carlson indicated that he presumed such facilities would be limited to Washington, D.C., designated for scenarios involving nuclear war. Right? In response, Fitz commented, some of it is preparation for a catastrophe. Yeah, because yes, it's also set up for nuclear war, but it's also set up ultimately for YAHAWAH. They don't want they're trying to hide from YAHAWAH. And the elect. So that's it on that. That's it on this article. I got a next precept here, Revelation 10 and 7. Or actually, let me read Micah 7. I'm gonna go to Micah first. Micah 7 and 15. And I got it here in the NLT. I'm gonna read it down to verse 20. So Micah 7 and 15, it reads, "Yes, says the Lord YAHAWAH, I will do mighty miracles for you, like those I did when I rescued you from slavery in Egypt." This is talking about the elect. It says, all nations of the world will stand amazed at what the Lord YAHAWAH will do for you, right? In terms of the miracles throughout Jacob's trouble and also the salvation, right? They will be embarrassed at their feeble power, right? Because what the Lord is going to do for the elect is he's going to ultimately change them. They're going to be gods. They're going to be perfect in righteousness. So when they come back down from them chariots, the elect, starting with 144,000, and they kick down the doors to these bunkers, hey, Esau is going to be completely ashamed because he's going to know this is his time. Get ready to go into slavery, right? They will be embarrassed at their feeble power because they spend $6.5 trillion on their military down there. The elect are going to have a field day with that military, and that's going to put shame on Esau. He spent decades developing all this technology. Okay, so it says they will cover their mouths in silent awe, deaf to everything around them. You see? Verse 17, like snakes crawling from their holes. They will come out to meet the Lord, YAHAWAH, our power. They will fear him greatly, trembling in terror at his presence. And it's really going to be YAHAWAH, right? YAHAWAH comes in the stead of the Heavenly Father, YAHAWAH. And under YAHAWAH, you have the 144,000. These people, all right, the top wicked elite are going to be terrified when they see us.
That's right.
It says, where is another God, another power like you, who pardons the guilt of the remnant, right? Hence the mark of exemption, overlooking the sins of his special people. Will you not stay angry with your people forever because you delight, slacking. You will not stay angry with your people forever because you delight in showing unfailing love, right? Once again, you will have compassion on us. You will trample our sin under your feet. Go ahead.
And that us basically rules out, right? This love everybody doctrine, man. That us is in particular, right, and being specific to the 1/3 and the whole elect on this side.
That's right.
All right, you can't squeeze yourself in this very solemn assembly of YAHAWAH Shai's people, man.
Yep. Facts. It says, verse 19, once again, you will have compassion on us. You will trample our sins under your feet and throw them into the depths of the ocean. So we're going to be perfected, right? So this represents us, the elect, the hopeful elect, being perfected. You will show us your faithfulness and unfailing love as you promised to our ancestor Abraham and Jacob long ago. And a part of that inheritance includes these top wicked elites being our slaves. It includes them.
I just sent you a thing.
Yeah, Khan.
Based on military bases under the water.
You want me to pull it up?
Yeah, you can put it at this.
You want me to get this part or the one that you?
Yes, there. I just Google.
Yeah, Khan.
They can read it.
Yep. Let's see if we can scan in. Yeah, we can definitely scan in. You see here. So the brother looked up. Are there? What did you look up? Go ahead. What did you look up?
Is there underwater military bases?
Right. Okay. So AI overview. It says yes, there are underwater military facilities, including submarine bases, and research facilities.
Research facilities. These
I freeze, Kazakh.
Yeah, I'm out there frozen.
Underwater bases are used for various purposes, including
submarine operations.
Yeah, it's Satan, man.
Yeah.
Like Esau say, you're shining with light of them, man.
You're exposing too much.
God, exposing too much. Israelites exposing too much.
Yeah.
Satan is withering in pain right now.
There he is. I think he's back. No, he's still frozen. I'm out there. Yeah, there it is. Let's refresh it. There he is.
You guys good?
We'll see you now. Yeah.
You guys can see me? Okay. Yeah, that's definitely Satan. But I'll finish it up. It says some examples include submarines bases like those operated by the United States Navy and research facilities like the Atlantic Undersea Test and
they might flag this video. He's just like, what are you doing?
Evacuate.
Tech. Yeah, man. He said I want us to come out.
No.
Yeah. That's crazy.
All praises.
Well, you guys can go look up what he looked up for yourselves then. Hey man, Satan's at work, man. These guys, they know, man. That's crazy. So I also want to get this precept here. Revelation, yes. So Revelation chapter 6. chapter 10, Slaki?
Yeah, 10 and 7 you wanted or something?
Yeah, 10 and 6 actually I'm going to start at. I'll read down to 7. Revelation chapter 10, verse 6, NLT says, He swore an oath in the name of the one who lives forever and ever, who, let me read verse 5 just for some context. It says, Then the angel I saw standing on the sea and on the land raised his right hand towards heaven. He swore an oath in the name of the one who lives forever and ever, who created the heavens and everything in them. The earth, who created the heavens and everything in them, the earth and everything in it, and the sea and everything in it. He said, there will be no more delay. Okay?
Right.
No more delay.
That's YAHAWAH, no?
Is that no, this is another angel.
Okay.
But he's John is watching YAHAWAH break. Oh, no, not in this case.
Okay. So he's sworn by YAHAWAH.
Yeah.
Okay, come.
Yes. Come. So verse 6, verse 7, Slake, it says, when the seventh angel blows his trumpet, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's mysterious plan will be revealed, will be fulfilled. Okay? And that mysterious plan is the salvation of the elect and the destruction of America and the elites going into slavery. It will happen just as he announced it to his servants, the prophets.
That's right.
Okay? Yeah, this is going to be my last precept here. I have in Wisdom of Solomon, which we did read already. I'm just going to start from verse 3 down to 9. If the computer will let me go there. Like, what the fuck? Okay. Jesus Christ. So, yo, man. Okay. So let's go to Wisdom of Solomon. Chapter 5. I'll read 2 again. We already read it, but I'll read 2 again. It says, they will be amazed to see him safe and will tremble with terrible fear. Then they will regret what they did, and groaning in anguish, they will say to each other, this is the one who we made fun of. And both 2/3 of our people and Esau Edom is going to be saying this when they see the elect. Okay, when they see prophecy come to pass. Because Esau knows that he's set up to go into slavery according to the scriptures. Okay, so it says, this is the one who we made fun of. We thought he was a joke. What fools we were, right? And you can read about this in Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter. This was their mindset. What fools we were. We thought he was crazy to live the way he did, and when he died, we didn't honor him. And now here he is, one of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's own children, with a place of his own among Yahweh's people. Verse 6, it says, we were the ones who wandered off the right road. We never lived in the light of righteousness. We never caught the first glimmers of its light. All our lives we wandered across unmarked deserts instead of following the road which the Lord Yahweh wanted us to travel. And this is really talking about 2/3 of Israel. Okay, and this lawlessness led us to ruined. But hey, who's to say? Because when the elect come down from the chariots and round up the top wicked elites and put them into slavery, they're gonna understand who they are and who they were in their past life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say that they won't understand that? They will understand that, and they're gonna know that you were rejected, going all the way back to Cain. Okay, verse 8. We were so proud. We were so proud of ourselves. We bragged about how rich we were, and now what good has it done us? Yeah, 21 trillion on the underground bunkers just for the elect, starting with 144,000 to have a field day with you. Okay, all those things are gone now. They have disappeared like a shadow, like something you hear and then forget. So that's it. That's what Edom's kingdom is likened to. Something that you hear about and then you forget. Right? The scriptures also say that it's going to be like a dream. Our time in this man's kingdom was like a dream compared to the kingdom of heaven. So that's it for me. I don't know, brothers, have any lasting precepts or statements you want to bring up?
Yeah, I would just bring out verse 8 and what you just said in verse 7. It says, in other words, they're going to know. 2/3 of our people are going to know, right? Because the message was given, excuse me, verse 7, the message was given, okay, the trumpet was blown, right? And it says, let me just read it. Where am I? NLT? Salakia. Let me just.
Read verse 8 of what book?
Same, Revelation 10.
Oh, okay. So Revelation 10, Revelation 10. Okay.
Yeah, and just to confirm what you just had said about them knowing, they're going to know because verse 7 declares that, right? The Lord says so. It says here when the seventh angel blows the trumpet, one of the seven angels, it says the power, the mysterious God, I read verbatim, God's mysterious plan will be fulfilled. It will happen just as he announced it to his servants, the prophets, right? And their commission is to let Israel know, right? Namely, the elect of Israel, right?
Yep, and the world, and Esau,
right.
Edom.
There you go. So they're going to know, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Verse 8, just to read that, just to tie it in there. It says, "Then the voice from heaven spoke to me again. Go and take, right, the open scroll from the hand of the angel who is standing on the sea and on the land." Okay, so when Brother Kazak was asking if that was YAHAWAH, no, that one there wasn't YAHAWAH, it was one of the angels, but this is YAHAWAH here, right? He passes on the information to his prophets, his servants of prophets.
You're talking about the angel standing.
It says, "Go and take the open scroll from the hand of the angel who is."
Verse is that though?
Oh, verse 8. Who's standing on the sea and on the land. You can link this with the book of Daniel. He's doing the same thing over there, YAHAWAH, and he swear by it. The same thing he wrote about, and of course, it was given to him in the book of Daniel, right, to bring it forth. Right.
This is talking about John himself in verse 8.
Right. So John received the message from the one that's standing on the sea and on the land.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, right.
Because it says, and the voice from heaven spoke to me again, right? The me being John. Go and take the open scroll from the hand of the angel who is sitting on, that's what it said, sitting on who is standing on the sea,
the land. Beautiful.
The sea and on the land.
Right. Okay. I'm just rushing to get that precept for those at home. Yeah. 12 and 7. Daniel 12 and 7. It's Daniel 12 and 7. Yeah. It says there. I'll read it for the record for you folks at home. right? We're just, going back. So Daniel 12:7, KJV, and it says, and I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he had held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, right? There shall be a time, there shall be a time, and times, and a half time, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. But the point there is the one who's standing on the land and the sea, right? Who's over everything, captain of the host. That's it. Just wanted to clear who Revelation 10 and 8, the one on the sea, standing on the land and on the sea. All power. That's it.
All right. So with that, we're going to close up. We're going to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahawah,
YAHAWAH,
Bahashem, Yahushua,
Bahashem,
Rakadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders and the bishops of Great Millstone rule well and have taught us this word in truth and sincerity. All right. And peace and mercy to the whole full elect, starting with 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3 that sincerely believe. All right. Baba Ball, Kwame Sha'ala, and Shalom to the whole full elect. The Lord willing, this lesson was edifying.
I'll go for lecture.